Craig Fisher. Craig runs marketing for Allegis Global Solutions, a part of the RPO practice and beyond. And he might tell you about some new things he has coming up. He always has new things coming up. He's one of the key innovators in the space globally, and that is to be recognized. Craig and I have known each other for a long time, and I find him as an expert in not only presenting tools but really evaluating them and how they can be used at scale. So he's going to walk us through what's hot but what's working and what to think about. So this is one of the nailed it part of SRSC. So think about some of these tools he'll be talking about and how you can maybe apply them, or the tools that you're using and how you can amp them up. With that, Craig Fisher.
Wouldn't keep coming back if I didn't love this event. Thank you, Kara and crew. This is always good. You're going to learn some things this week that will push your boundaries a bit. You're going to hear some things that you will question. I like the questions that we're asking John, and John likes those questions too. And thank you, John, for such interesting information. Those turnover rates, yeah, I am curious about that too. But that's fairly amazing, right? And that's kind of the economy we're in right now as well, if you think about it. Because companies are starting to think in terms of a dynamic talent cloud, right? Not just your traditional employee. And I've got some customers in what I do that are looking not just at full-time employees and not contractors, but also task workers, freelancers. How do we get things done, right? And so this is the reason that job boards are hot again. Everybody getting that? Job boards are exploding. If you look online for freelance job boards, right, you'll see articles in Forbes, Entrepreneur, Inc. FreshBooks lists 101 job sites to get freelance writing jobs. 101. 2 years ago, there were 71 freelance job sites in general. This is really going crazy. So how do we manage all of this change? How do we manage all of this turnover? How do we attract and still communicate with people enough on a regular basis to win that little new skirmish for talent that we have going on, right? Are we going to use all freelancers? Are we just going to think about how to get tasks done and that's it? That's not the answer. That's not really going to be the future. This is kind of a moment in time, but we will use shared resources with other companies for a lot of the work that we're doing in the very near future. So get ready, right? Things are changing at a rapid clip. It's going to be fun. So I am as Andrew said, the head of marketing for a company called Allegis Global Solutions. AGS is the acronym. We need more acronyms, right? AGS is one of 10 operating companies owned by Allegis Group, which also owns Aerotech, Tech Systems, several other companies, and one of their founders owns the Baltimore Ravens. So I find myself in Baltimore on a regular basis, which is pretty cool. I like Baltimore. We're actually in Hanover. But we've got offices all over the world, and I'm part of the MSP and RPO business for Allegis, and I actually implement a lot of these tools that we're talking about today and techniques in major organizations. I mean, big companies like Amex and HSBC and CSC and now DXC and Staples and big organizations. So the information that I'm going to give you is not things I've just thought of and think are cool. These are things that I've done. I recently spent a couple of years inside of a big software company called CA Technologies as one of their talent acquisition leaders, and one of my jobs there was to lead a team of recruitment marketers to do employer branding globally. And I had a team of 6 people working on an internal employer branding team backed by a team of recruitment operations, which, by the way, is the best and least appreciated part of recruiting going, period. Does everybody agree with me? Recruiting operations. Could you do without recruiting operations if you have once had it? It's pretty awesome. They give you the data to prove that you need more money from leadership to do cool things, right? All right, so part of my message always is and always will be that in spite of all this cool technology, we need to continue to be human, because that human touch is what's going to differentiate us from our competitors. Everyone soon is going to have the AI, okay? Everyone soon is going to have the chatbot that answers the questions and starts people through the recruitment process and drives referrals and everything else. So that's not a differentiator. That's already here. It's already happening. Does that make sense? And when I say AI, I'm like John, I'm skeptical that it's all really intelligent, right? But there are some cool tools that are starting to really develop. But in the wake of all that, what's really not going to change is that computers can't actually feel empathy, right? Part of our job is to understand and to put ourselves in the place of that person we're talking to. And computers can't do that. They can mimic empathy, but they can't actually feel empathy. So there's a famous documentary that you've probably never heard of called Plug and Pray that details the origins of AI computing. And there's a guy in this documentary, he died in 2009, but his name was Joseph Weizenbaum. And he was a professor at MIT, and he created a program called ELIZA that was an experiment with natural language programming to speak to people. And basically, it just mirrored the conversation, sort of like what happens when you go to therapy, right? You go to your therapist and you say, I'm not feeling well. I'm sad. And the therapist says, oh, really? You're sad? Tell me more, right? And that's therapy. So you feel better because you've just talked about it. So that's what this computer would do. This ELIZA program would basically just respond on a decision tree. You type in something about yourself, and it would respond with something that mirrors what you've said, basically. So Weizenbaum turned it on and let some of his interns and staff play with it. And what he found was he'd come back hours later, and these interns, college students, and staff would be engrossed in conversations with ELIZA, pouring their hearts out, telling ELIZA things that they've never told anyone. And they would tell him to get out of the room. I'm not done yet. And he was scared for the future, and he turned it off. So computers can mimic empathy, right? The machines can act like they understand us, but they can't. So we have to still be human. All right. So in that vein, these are my kids. It wouldn't be a Craig Fisher presentation if I didn't show a picture of my kids. This is an old picture of my kids. They're not actually all the exact same size. I pasted these together in Photoshop. But they're here to remind us that even in the wake of all these data security issues and actually our generation's becoming more private versus more open on social media, right? Gen Z is kind of private. We can still share things about ourselves and feel some sense of security about it, all right? So I shamelessly post pictures of my kids all over the internet for marketing purposes. But I never call them by their names online. They've never, ever been called by me by their actual names. They're always only known as numbers 1, 2, and 3 sons. All right? So they know that that's not really order of preference. It's just order of birth. But I can have them as one of the things that I like to post that makes me more human, right, on a regular basis. And I suggest everyone has 3 things: a hobby, family, whatever it is you do. 3 things that you can always come back to on a regular basis to share with your audience, with the rest of the world, to help build trust in your network. Because If you're not doing that, if you're just asking for things all the time and not sharing things about yourself personally and things that are interesting to your audience that are not about you or your organization, but third-party interesting information, right? You're not doing yourself a favor. You're not going to grow your network. You're not going to build that trust, and people aren't going to react when you ask for referrals and things like that. So think about your 3 things. Also, you can use this in a formula that I have generously supplied for you that I use all the time called the 5-to-1 give to ask ratio, okay? So if you think about it, if you give 5 times before you ask any one thing, people will respond better than if you're just asking all the time, right? So a couple of personal things, a couple of interesting third-party things about how to do your job better or how to be more productive, maybe something fun from an activity at the office with you and your coworkers, and then every once in a while, oh, and by the way, we're hiring, or read our white paper, or take our survey, right? 5 gives to every 1 ask. This is going to be a constant theme for any of the tools that I show you. And a lot of the tools that I show you are really just how to connect with people better, but remember they're tools, and they're helping you to be more human. Okay. One of the things that you should do before you employ any tool to communicate better with your audience or to recruit better or source better is know who you're trying to reach, okay? So this is an empathy map. I got to do a cool project with IBM a couple of years ago where I was asked to be an IBM futurist and hack the future of work. And one of the neat things that they did with this large group of thinkers in New York over a week was take us through an IBM design lab, which was fun. And we got to do this empathy map. And I thought immediately, man, this is perfect for recruiting. This is 3 or 4 years ago when I did this. And so we were just at that time starting to think about personas for marketing and recruitment. But this empathy map is a great tool to use with your teams. Actually draw this on a whiteboard or several whiteboards, right? And have your recruiting team fill it in to sort of figure out who is your purple squirrel unicorn that you're trying to recruit, okay? Give them multicolored sticky notes and Sharpies and have them paste them on the boards, okay? And take pictures and videos. It's a fun exercise. I do this in a lot of workshops, and they love it because at the end, they have a real clear picture of who the person is, right? So what do they think about when they walk through their day? What's the first thing they see when they wake up in the morning? What are their concerns? What are their beliefs? What do they think about work? Are they more interested in salary, or is prestige more interesting to them? Or is it just they need to learn and grow, right? We know some things about the next generations of workers, right? And a lot of those things are, they need enough money to travel. Do they want to be in an office? Sometimes. Do they care about benefits? Not really. Are they ever going to own a house or a car? Maybe not. Lots of new things, right? And so you can use this empathy map to start thinking about what are those things, and then how will you meet their concerns in the things that you present to them online and in communications with the candidates you're trying to recruit, okay? Think about the lifestyle you project from your organization or for your clients' organizations, and how does that fit with the person you're trying to recruit? So, the other thing that you should do is don't try to be a one-man band, okay? Don't try to do it all yourself. Don't try to have recruiting do all of the employer branding, recruitment marketing activities in your organization. Use some employee advocacy platform or some sort of hashtag conversation on a regular basis to get more people in your organization sharing your company's awesome culture, right? This is cheap and easy. You've got a lot more people in the company than you do in the marketing department or the recruiting department, right? Get them engaged. But you can't just say, all right, everyone, please talk. Let's try an experiment. All right, everyone, please talk. All right, that doesn't work. Okay, you have to give them something to talk about, right? You have to give them a reason to want to engage with their audiences on the behalf of your organization. So let's try this again. Everyone, turn to the person next to you and tell them something slightly personal about yourself. Ready? Go. Oh, yeah, you're going to share. Yeah. All right. We got too many tools to talk about to keep doing this all day. But you get my point. That works better, right? Giving people some direction, a little bit of training. Did anyone hear something really interesting that they'd like to share? Raise your hand. Come on. This is the interactive part. Yes.
First thing both of us thought about was our kids.
Kids, all right. So they have kids. Isn't that nice? How altruistic. I love that. That's what I think about first, too. Yes, Katrina.
We talked about the upper
Okay, furry kids, right? So, right, what are the two biggest themes on social media? Kids and pets, right. Okay, how many cat people in the audience? Wow. Dog people? Woo! Oh! All right, I've just filled in my empathy map a little bit, right? I understand you better. Cat people, we'll talk later. So one of the things that we did at CA Technologies, which got our people talking and was easy, cheap, and free almost, was we would help them celebrate things like pets and kids. So at CA, it's about an 11,000 person company, so a medium-sized organization. We had some cool benefits, right? So part of the problem was when I went there, they were having trouble recruiting people because they had sort of a reputation as a churn and burn little software factory, right? And this is the same thing that most software companies have to deal with. Their sales organizations first and software second. Thousands of salespeople, few engineers. But CA was actually a good organization on the inside. And they have cool benefits and things that the company really likes about itself, right? And one of those things is pet benefits. They have pet benefits at CA, right? So you get a new pet and you get a day of socialization with your new pet. You lose a pet, you get a day of bereavement with your pet. Pretty cool, right? And if you fill out this form and send in for it, you'll get a pet bundle with a bunch of CA swag for your pet in the mail. And we would put a card in there that said, if you're going to share photos of your pet online, don't forget to tag #LifeAtCA because we want to celebrate with you. And people did. A lot. And it's just asking that helps them do it, right? We sort of gave them the permission and the instruction at the same time. And then we did it with new babies. And guess what? People did. And then we did it with summer vacations. And move into your new home. And all kinds of other things. Swag bags going out all over the place. They cost like $8, right? And all of these people in this 11,000 person organization all over the world were sharing awesome pics from inside of their lives with #LifeAtCA. So suddenly when people from the outside world would go to check us out, they wouldn't see this sort of Glassdoor review company. They would see this vibrant, engaged workforce that loves their company and loves their job. Pretty cool. And true. I like true. So it would manifest on places like Instagram, on our Instagram page, right? And we'd repost these pictures and give the employees credit. So it's a little bit of fun there if they did that. Very exciting. But you can see that My example has a cat, not a dog. Well, I posted a picture of my dog. But so I'm doing this at Allegis now, and we've got this small careers channel that we recently started, and I'm trying to grow it. And we are doing photo contests with the hashtag. And so this week, share a picture of your dog or cat or child or, right, and a different theme each week. Share something that is showing how you're embracing wellness, right? Share pictures from summer vacation. So these are easy things that you can do. So is this a cool tool? Well, Instagram's a cool tool. This is a cool way to use it to help engage your workforce. Here's a couple of cool tools that will actually help you use Instagram to engage your workforce. To build a following on Instagram, you have to follow a lot of people, and you have to comment a lot, and you have to share a lot. And if all those people don't follow you back, you end up following way more than follow you, right? And that doesn't look very good when new people come to check out your account. So sometimes you have to go through and clear out all those people that are not following you back. And there's a tool called Cleaner. It's an app for your iPhone, and I think it works with other phones, that will actually do that. It will just clean up your account. So everyone that's not following you back, you unfollow, and then it'll give you a list of those you unfollowed so that you can go back through and refollow the ones that you want to follow you again. Okay? Great tool. There's a new tool also called After Post that will allow you to schedule posts not just for your business account, which is a new feature from Instagram, but for your personal account as well. So remember, we all collectively went, when we found out that Instagram was going to let us schedule posts in the future only for business accounts. Wah, wah. Sorry, you individual people. Well, After Post will help you do that. So I put words on a lot of my photos. If you check out hashtag SRSC on Twitter and Instagram right now, you will see that I posted a photo. Lovely John Sumser. And I put the words SRSC, hashtag SRSC on the photo. I use a tool called Font Candy Plus to do this. It's my favorite one. There are about 1 million. But Font Candy Plus allows you to do all kinds of other things as well. And then I've got a new fun favorite tool called Sticky. Sticky AI. You can take a photo of yourself and put it into Sticky AI. Sticky AI will crop the background out and make a sticker of you, just like a Bitmoji, basically, except it's your real picture, that then you can stick in a message and annoy your friends with. And you can put a little speech balloon next to it so it looks just like your Bitmoji, but really you. And the fun thing you can also do with it is do it of your friends and have them say funny things. So in your group texts, and I know you all have them, this is one of the more fun things you can do. So the other way that I've used it, though, is when I've engaged with someone about a job I want them to be interested in, and then maybe something doesn't happen with the job, it gets put on hold, whatever, you try to communicate and let people know what's going on, but you want to come back to them and get their attention again at some point. Well, instead of just sending an email or a LinkedIn message or something else, I have been putting a picture of myself in a sticky and sending them a text message saying, hey, still interested in that job? And everyone responds to that. It's a winner every time. Everyone responds to your silly sticker. All right. Finding interesting content to post on a regular basis. There's a lot of tools for this, but I've got a couple that I really like. One's called Right Relevance. You can get there on your phone and online, rightrelevance.com. And it actually shows you what posts of interesting content your friends are liking, retweeting, posting, etc., and how many of your friends and who are engaging with that content. And you can actually choose your topics, which I love. There's another tool like that called Crowdfire. This is by far one of the best tools I have in my arsenal right now. And I'll tell you, I believe I have something close to 700 apps on my phone. Right. I play with a lot of tools. So, sounds weird. Crowdfire, check that out. It's awesome. Crowdfire will also send you notifications that tells you when you're running out of content. And you can choose your topics. It will push the good content to you. It will also push your own content to you. Like you've got a blog post here or a video you did that you haven't posted in a while. You should repost it. Pretty great, right? You can use it for business as well as your personal stuff. And then it'll send you push notifications to say, hey, you're running out of content, time to reload. So I do this once or twice a week, and my content is set. It's awesome. So, want to talk a little more about AI? The greatest AI tool in the world that actually does learn is called Facebook. Y'all realize that, right? So, what does Facebook know? Facebook tricked us. When we all signed up for Facebook, what did we tell Facebook? Everything. Everything. What's your name? Who are your friends? What's your phone number and your birth date and all of your email addresses? Right? What do you like? What movies? What books? Do you like men or women? Or both? What's your current relationship status? Where did you work? How long have you been out of school? What's your actual birth date? Everything Facebook knows about us, okay? In general. Some of you are saying, I didn't put any of that stuff in there. You know what? You put a lot more than you think. Every time you interact on Facebook, Facebook learns about you, okay? And there are ways to search Facebook for things that you've posted in the past that will blow you away that Facebook is keeping track of. All right? The greatest AI tool in existence is Facebook. So, why does that matter? Well, because we gave up our privacy on purpose. Because we want things, right? We want things pushed to us. Like, how would we know what books to read or what movies to watch if it weren't for these tools? Yeah? Okay? I wouldn't know what to do without Netflix because there's nothing good on TV anymore. It's all on Netflix and Amazon. All right. Still, we want to be human, right? We want to not let our entire life and business be automated, okay? So remember this theme. Is everyone using Facebook groups to their full extent? How many groups are you in? Name a high number. One? Too many, yeah. I'm in, I think, 70 some groups on Facebook, yeah. And I've actually got some tools on IFTTT and some other sort of automation processes to help me navigate what's important on these groups. But I find some cool things on Facebook groups that I'm going to share a couple with you. I find cool things all the time, by the way. You can save conversations, by the way. The things that you find interesting and you never can remember how to get back to, you can save those conversations and just click on the little dots next to the conversation and it'll say save conversation. And then you can go to facebook.com/saved to find those conversations again. There's also an icon on your homepage, but nobody even seems to remember where that is for some reason. But so here's a good one. There's a couple of things that make navigating Facebook groups easier. Social Fixer is one of them. Social Fixer is a tool that actually makes Facebook more searchable and more usable. Play with it, you'll like it. You won't go back. And then intel-sw.com, right? That's the Facebook search extension that you can't live without. You got to do it, okay? Intel-sw.com. Shane McCusker, the genius that created that. In the Talent Sourcers group, a friend of mine named Jonathan Kidder, he's at Wizard Sourcing on Twitter, if you want to give him a shout out right now. He actually used to work on the CA account as a sourcer under my team. Great guy. He's putting up some brilliant stuff in this group. He's got a tool called Nefarious Careers. It's not his tool. He just posted about it. Nefarious Careers will tell you all of the apps and extensions that LinkedIn is scanning to see if you're using while on their site. So you know LinkedIn will put you in jail, right? If you do too many searches or use too many tools that are scraping their platform. Sorry? More so if you have a free account, that's right. This little extension will give you a pop-up. You can see right there on the right side of the screen that will show you all of the extensions that you're using that it claims is not kosher. Jonathan says LinkedIn considers profile views as 50 public views and 50 standard views per day. If you open 300 profiles a day, that's about the limit they're going to allow you to do. And 500 views per day is the maximum limit. And there's a list of tools that you can use outside. You're all going to get these slides, by the way. But there's a list of tools you can use outside of LinkedIn to search LinkedIn that will help you avoid jail. So I don't do any of my LinkedIn searches in LinkedIn, ever, right? I write a Boolean string for it, or you can use recruitin.com. There was a stream that asked, what is the best CRM to replace traditional ATS for a small agency? Insight appreciated. And this list of 27 tools, a few of which I knew of before, most of which I did not, came up in conversation that people were actually using and loved. I will be posting this list on LinkedIn and on my website at fishdogs.com. So you guys can go check there later today or tomorrow and connect with me on LinkedIn, right? Because I post a lot of stuff there that you will. Yeah, Kara will send you all the slide deck. So if you're actually registered for this conference, you'll get it. If you're sneaking around in here, you might not. All right. So a couple of things. I've actually implemented a chatbot at a company called DXC Technology. This DXC is formerly CSC, merged with HP Enterprise Services. It's one of the largest software companies in the world. And we've got a working chatbot at DXC Careers page. So you can go there. I think it's DXC, let's see here. It's jobs.dxc.technology. You can go there and chat with Olivia and ask about careers at DXC. We've had it working there for several months now, and we've got some amazing data. Olivia will do some crazy things for you as well, like help set up the referral process. You can text Olivia and say, I want to refer my friend. Olivia will get your friend's information and start engaging with the friend and start the referral process and take them all the way through it. It's pretty cool. But the more interesting thing is when we first initiated the chatbot didn't have very much information in it. It learns as it answers questions and gets asked questions, right? And so the things that were asked of Olivia early on back in September were things like, do you work here? People would say, thanks, Olivia. Good morning, Olivia. How are you? Are you a real person? Who are you? Help. Thanks, but I'm just looking, right? But the questions got better. So I can barely read this. This is an eye chart, right? People started getting frustrated in, I think this was October. Can I speak to a recruiter? Can I speak to a person? What's the status of my application? Why can't you provide me with a contact? Et cetera, et cetera. But very quickly, Olivia started answering questions very well. Now, we did learn we had to set up a way to contact a recruiter through the process, but now all the questions are spot on. I mean, like people are getting answers to real questions and using it all the time, all over the world. So literally in about 20 countries, this is working and working well. So that's Olivia AI, just little information for you there. These are all the countries that we're tracking a lot of data in right now. Pretty great stuff. And I've got a lot of data on that.
Yeah, good question. I work for a global organization, and are you using English as the main language, or in these other countries are they actually communicating in their home language?
In some of them, they're communicating in their own language. Yeah. I actually surveyed job candidates last year and asked them how they feel about using AI in the recruitment process to answer questions, get interviews scheduled, things like that. And overall, everybody was cool with it, but about 20% of people said that, yeah, I'm still not really comfortable there. And so what does that tell us? We have to still be human. Yes, yes. We have to still be human. Okay. So it's cool to have tools. It's cool to automate things, but the message is high touch always outweighs high tech. Yeah? The age group of the job candidates, it was all ages. So this was literally, and it could have been skewed just by nature of who applies to jobs, but these were people that had applied to jobs at Allegis Global Solutions and our customers through our career site. So it was a wide range. We didn't target any specific age group. Okay, so I thank you for paying attention today. You're a great, very involved group. I can see you writing and taking pictures. If you want to tweet something about it, I'm at FishDogs, or post something on Instagram. I will respond and follow you, and we can be friends. And if anybody has any other questions, we can talk about it right now. Anyone? Questions? Got a question.
Greg Ryan, Christo KRT. On the
Hello.
Instagram campaigns, you guys did an exit interview campaign. I was curious as to exactly what that was.
Yeah. So this was something to shore up our Glassdoor scores. I implemented a program where upon entering the organization, we would ask new hires what they were excited about and what they liked about the interview process and what they feel like their role is going to be moving forward. And then we'd say, hey, if you feel good about that, go paste this blurb that we've just summarized for you on LinkedIn and Glassdoor, right? So that really helps with Glassdoor scores because people are really excited then. And we hit them again at 30, 60, 90 days, and then occasionally through their lifespan because it's ongoing now. But the other part of that was exit interviews. So instead of having your final exit interview with someone from HR and another person standing in the corner and then you're escorted out by security, we instituted a program started in India where on your last day, you sit down with your manager and they say thank you, basically, and they give you a card that in India, we actually had a Starbucks gift card in it or something like that and said, look, when you get where you're going, give me a shout. Let me know how it's going. I'm interested and I want to know how you're doing. Grab a cup of coffee on me and let's make sure we keep in touch, right? And if that's your last touch on the way out the door, you're much less likely to go trash the organization on places like Glassdoor when you walk out, even if you're a voluntary leaver. Does that help?
Yeah, there wasn't an Instagram component of it. It was just on that.
Yeah, that was just an example of some of this. I don't have time to talk about all the things we did, I guess. I wish I did. Thank you.
So with the chatbot, what were the statistics of actual viable candidates that applied to their respective roles?
Yeah, so taking it all the way through application process and into interviews, we started out as a lot of people jumped out of the program, right, and wanted to speak to a recruiter. And then when we implemented the ability to contact a recruiter through the chatbot, we started tracking the candidates that then went all the way through the system. And now we're seeing that, and this is fairly new data, right? This is just in the last 6 months, but something on the order of 5% of new hires are actually initiating through the chatbot, which is fairly interesting. That doesn't mean that's where they came from to get there, right? That's not tracking source, but they had some of their initial conversations through the chatbot, which is really cool. Olivia's got a lot of data, and I do too. We get these monthly reports, and it's pretty exciting stuff.
We got one more, and then we'll wrap it up. So who wants it? Raise your hand high. All right.
Hi, Craig. It
Hello.
was very informative.
Thank you.
I just want to know about if you could share any example of the campaigns you've run on LinkedIn specifically.
Yeah. So here's an interesting thing about LinkedIn, right? LinkedIn now allows you to upload live video, which is fairly fascinating stuff. And so we started doing informational job posts. in video format on LinkedIn at a few of our clients, and it's actually working really, really well. LinkedIn seems to put an emphasis on live video, and because people are liking it and commenting on it kind of in real time, it starts hitting newsfeed algorithms. And so these things are taking off. And LinkedIn is actually becoming one of the most active communities right now in recruiting, period. I mean, I don't know if you all are paying attention there, but it's fast becoming better than Facebook groups and lots of other things, right? I'm not saying choose one thing over another. I use all resources at my disposal. But in the wake of targeted ads being kind of a question on Facebook right now, LinkedIn's becoming an interesting option. It's time to not hate LinkedIn so much anymore. One last question. We got one more?
One more.
The video on LinkedIn for your different jobs.
Mhm.
How do you produce those videos?
They're all shaky cam. Yeah, you can only do it through your phone, basically. You can't do a live video. You can do it through your laptop, but that doesn't give you much better resolution than a camera with a tripod or a phone with a tripod. Yeah.
Thank you, Craig.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. I love you guys.